a number of times.
It does look great so far. Just no video yet.
Oh, ho, ho, it works.
It works. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I see it now. Oh no, this episode is not sponsored by Guayaki Yerba Mate.
I
I gotta drink
was
this.
wondering if that was what that was. Okay.
hmm
What is? I don't know if I've ever really gotten into. Is that yerba mate or?
Yerba Mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yerba you should be able to pronounce because the Yerba Buena I think is a place in California that like a
Hmm.
lot of stuff used to sell from on
Right.
TV. Doesn't ring a bell.
No, no. I mean,
KTEL Records. Yerba
I,
Buena.
I can't think of what yerba buena or yerba mate. I can't think of what mate that tastes
It doesn't taste good.
like.
No offense to the Argentinian, I think, audience. Not great. I would say that the guayaki stuff kind of tastes like off-brand Coke, like Coca-Cola.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
is what it tastes like. Yerba mate. It's kind of like earthy.
Hmm.
It's basically like tea leaves, ground up tea leaves that
Yeah.
have a fair amount of caffeine in them.
I I have a one of the gourds that is for mate, and even the little special straw with a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
kind of almost like a little spoon at
I
the
could
end.
see you rocking this. Yeah.
Um, from when I went to Colonia in Uruguay, which is just a quick hop from what's the town there in Argentina? Is it Argentina? Oh, Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm unfortunately I don't know. I have yet to be to go to South America someday.
And my I had a roommate who was from I don't know where he was from, but he was really into mate, and he'd always be drinking it. And I think it was Javier Minakawa was I think his name.
Mexico. Okay.
But yeah, I never got into it.
So I just pulled it up because I don't know what mate is either. It's
Mm.
a plant of the holly genus, so it's in the holly tree family. It
Hmm.
looks like. Thanks, Wikipedia.
Okay.
I really didn't know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know nothing about it. It tastes good though. The thing for me is it's got a bunch of caffeine, but it doesn't upset my stomach like coffee does, which is nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's less acidic. Okay.
So it looks like somebody has joined us.
Oh,
There are three viewers.
amazing. All right.
Um,
But what you discern that one of those is me. Hopefully, that the other is probably you.
that is potentially true.
Potentially true.
Um, so what's going on? You've
There,
recovered?
I think I've recovered. Yeah, I still can't eat all of the foods, but yeah, I'm eating the foods to test to see which ones I can handle and which ones I can't, which is good. I had some kimchi yesterday. I've never had good kimchi before, and yesterday was the first time. That was quite good.
You are responding to the different thing that I was
Oh,
asking about, but that's a good thing to.
how did I
That's probably
recover?
the
Oh shoot.
that's the that would be the more the w- the option that shows that I
Oh, that
am
you care. I
recurring.
guess. Have I recovered from the conference? Is what
The
you're asking about
conference, yeah, yeah.
professionally. I think so. What's really interesting, I guess, to me as somebody who's been in ops, and I'm not comparing the two functions at all, but unfortunately, maybe I kind of am. It feels to me that DevRel is a certain particular type of work that I do get tired from, but it's a different type of tired. So after a conference,
Mm,
I feel like I've just talked too much, basically. So I just don't want to talk to anybody for a
right.
while and hang out in the hotel. I think I mentioned that I watched Dark Matter as a
Yeah.
result to sort of like unwind.
Yeah.
After that, though, I'm generally okay to. Please don't tell. Like,
Hmm.
let's keep this under wraps. Generally okay to go to like get another conference. I
Yeah.
I'm no I'm not sure if I'm at the experience level to actually do it, however, and go speak successfully and et cetera, et cetera. Because there's a lot of variables. But
Right.
basically, what's really nice, I guess, in this role is that typically after a delivery like that, you get some downtime, basically. So that's where we're
Yeah.
at now, like planning downtime, that kind of thing. your manager is asking you to take vacation. They're asking if there's any like soft stuff that you want to work on or research or that kind of
Hmm.
thing. So I'm doing a bunch of research into Bedrock for a webinar that's coming up in August, but that's like at least a month away, if not more,
Okay.
which is nice. So a lot of research, stuff like that, and then just as the boss says, trying to not get stressed out. I
Yeah.
don't know. I really like my job and I really like this industry, and I think the danger is for people like you, like I, is that we can get too deep into things and then burn
Hmm.
out without realizing it, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, honestly, I feel like I've recovered. I don't know if that's just a myth or what have you, but
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you have like a downtime? Because it's been about 2 weeks, I think, and 2 weeks seems to be like the recovery period for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm, it's been a while since I've been at a work function because,
Right.
I mean, I work, but I don't work for anyone, and I work for myself now. So it's, but I feel like
That seems
before,
even more dangerous though when there's no one
yeah,
telling you to
I
take a
know.
break,
There's,
right? Because I
yeah,
know Matt's not going to tell Matt to take a break.
no. Um, I feel like that was something that um, has grown as I got older, and
Right.
specifically around, I used to have a job where I traveled a lot,
Right.
and so I would be in Australia for 2 weeks, come home for a few hours, go to Buenos Aires for a week, come home for a few hours, go to Dubai for 2 weeks, and at the beginning, for the first say 4 years, 5 years of doing that, where I'd be home for anywhere from 10 hours to 10 days before going on to the next trip. That was easy. I could do that all the time, and I
Wow.
was doing it all the time. I was
Right.
doing 90+% travel. It was amazing. But as I got, into the 10-year mark of doing that, it was exhausting, and I needed um, the time to recover. I mean, part of it is the time zone difference,
Right.
but I need the time to recover even on flights to Dubai, which are almost the same time zone, or maybe one or two time
Sort of.
zones off,
Yeah. North south. Yeah.
or going down to Johannesburg. Um, but yeah, I mean, just the travel, I mean, that was when I was doing training,
Hmm.
and so doing, talking to people, a small group of people for 3 days straight, and it was exhausting, and it would take me a little bit longer each time to recover.
Right.
And I feel like I don't really. I guess I've just kind of put it out of my memory of what that was like at Datadog
Right.
and at other companies. But I mean, the travel was the most memorable of that
Yeah.
kind of problem.
And I'd say the same thing. Like the job itself actually it is. There's certainly like in the moment. There's certainly stressors, things
Hmm.
happening, variables, like a lot of variables, basically things unknown unknowns. I think is kind of the
Yeah.
name of the game when it comes to events. But once it's over, it feels like it's more synchronous work, and when it's done, there is some pre-work and post-work for sure.
Hmm.
But those as they're planning for an event, it's not that bad. The
Yeah.
on-plan stuff is problematic, but this time the flights were fantastic. I flew
Oh
back
yeah.
JetBlue, which I'm not sure I
Oh
can
yeah.
recommend honestly, but it's it's going to be within budget for sure because it's a discount
Yep.
airline. It is typically on time, and if you feel like you need more leg room, like the upgrades aren't that expensive
Yeah.
either. It was quite nice. I got back
Yeah.
really quickly. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. Like I want to knock on wood because generally I've had some pretty bad luck this year
Yeah.
with flights, but it's been fantastic.
I
JetBlue
used
is
to be on JetBlue a lot. When I was at Datadog, I was
gotcha.
flying. That was my main airline,
Oh,
JetBlue.
there you go. Yeah, like I was
Um,
surprised. Did discount airline? That's okay. Like that's surprising to me.
I mean, I was Mosaic, and so they
Hmm.
treated me a little bit better. And I had the upgrades. I could use the points for upgrades to was there Mint class,
Right. Like
and
that's what I'm talking about. So I paid for Mint, which
oh, you
means you
did? Okay, yeah,
actually board early.
yeah,
Just like I don't want to be mean. I realize a lot of people need more help than I do, but sometimes it feels like a Key and Peele sketch where everybody's boarding before you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately.
yeah,
But yeah, with Mint, you just hop on the plane in Group
yeah.
One, which is fantastic. And they're not bigger. They're smaller flights generally, so the amount of people boarding the plane isn't a
Right.
lot, and it takes like half an hour to board the plane,
Yeah.
which is generally unheard of for most of the flights I take.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I can't say enough good about JetBlue.
Yeah. Yeah. They were really the first of the airlines to offer like free Wi-Fi on the entire flight.
Gotcha.
Although it doesn't work for, I think like port 22. So any sort
SSH?
of
Yep.
SSH, GitHub, you're
Tunneling.
not going to be able to access it.
Have you ever tried tunneling over DNS? This is one of those things where I should have done my homework before mentioning it. But I've tried it and failed, is why I mention it.
Oh, okay.
I realize it's supposed to be pretty handy in situations like this when
Yeah.
you want to like put traffic on a different port.
I have done it in the distant past, but I haven't tried it since. And I think they block most regular kind of VPN traffic as
Right,
well.
that makes sense.
Um, but I've always thought about. I mean, other than that initial like playing around with it just to see, oh my God, this really does work. You know, for being able to use a network when all you can get to is in Europe. There's often the little block, the web page that comes up saying, "Welcome to our free Wi-Fi access point." In order to get access, log into your Facebook and
Right.
give us your or some other email account,
It's
and
pretty
then
common here too, yeah.
you could VPN or tunnel through DNS to get past all that, which
Gotcha.
was like magic.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I would love to be able like learn how to do that or figure out an easy way
Yeah.
to use it. But yes,
I feel like I had it to the point where it was like all I had to do was like press like run one little command and it like
ooh,
just made it work.
I like
Um,
that.
yeah.
I used to do a lot of tunneling over SSH, so I'd set up like a
Mm,
local SOCKS proxy kind of thing,
yep.
and use that, and that's really handy. It like
Yeah.
it solves a lot of problems, and it's really
Yep.
not that hard to set up. And I
Yep.
used to use it's called Shuttle, but it's like SSH Shuttle altogether, so Shuttle
Mm-hmm.
with two S's. But it's this little rocket ship that hides in your taskbar that you click,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just sets it up for you,
Yep.
and then you use the browser that's got the proxy set up, generally
Yep.
Firefox, and you're good to go. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I miss those
Yeah.
days. Simpler times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, other than that, so there was one new model released, but I'm not sure if you've heard about this. I think Gemma 2 is still getting some news, but it was
Mm-hmm.
this China Telecom documentation-oriented LLM-driven
Hmm.
application. Have you not heard of this?
No. What was that?
So I'll try to really really quickly. So what they call it is the Xing Chen large language model.
Hmm.
It's called a software factory. So it's an LLM-driven software development platform. I'm trying to read this in my voice, but basically, what it will do is use documentation in order to help you create code based on, if I understand this properly, your code style or like the code documentation you got, which you can kind of do now, but it looks
Mm-hmm.
like this is specifically for code generation
Hmm.
using like a style guide or using a documentation style guide. Have not seen it reviewed or tested or
Yeah.
anything. I think this is more of just an announcement. Maybe it's
Yeah.
vaporware. I don't know. But that's the only new model that I could find. And then other than that, it's just news about Gemma 2. Have you seen any? Like, it seems like we're slowing down at this point in time. The Cambrian explosion seems to
I
be slowing.
I
No?
don't know if we're slowing down. I think.
I mean, in terms of new models coming out every day, you gotta think that we're slowing down a bit.
I mean, I think it's just we've. It's no longer as novel and exciting
Ah, okay,
as
that's fair.
um. Yeah, and so you're just another model. Okay, great. Whatever.
Just put that in the pile.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there must be thousands, tens of thousands of models available on like Hugging Face.
Yes.
Um, and one more. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. Yeah. I I am I'm surprised how little difference there is in all the different models generally. At a like uh, for specific questions, you might see a difference in one model versus the other, but generally, they all seem to be doing pretty much They're all very comparable.
It does seem to be that we've hit like like a plateau in terms of quality. So
Yeah.
like a minimum bar, basically. Most of them can hit like a minimum bar. So why is the Sky Blue no longer fails? Most
Yeah.
of the like I haven't seen it fail in a while.
Yeah.
Um, some of the fact-based stuff still does fail.
Hmm. Hmm.
A member of our team, Jason Hand, who's kind of well known in the community, has a test where he asked it about bluegrass bands, and it will often fail. Like make up the members.
Mm.
It here is the LLM that we're testing, but the LLM
Right.
being tested will often fail on the members of the band,
Hmm.
that kind of thing, or song names, that kind of stuff, because it can
Right.
be complicated. Give me all of like the historical band members of Rolling Stones and the hits that
Right.
they're
Right.
known for, kind of thing. They'll struggle on band members, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it does look like, at the very least, when you ask it like a simple programming question, and it again the LLM that you're testing, typically okay.
Yeah.
The style guide stuff is, I think, sort of next level here. If you've got like a company standard that you want, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people want that, which is maybe why this is novel. But yeah, the level of coding is like maybe 85%. But
Yeah.
if you know this going in when you ask for advice, I still think it's acceptable.
Yeah. And
And
that's what I really like about Super Maven, which I think I've mentioned before,
right.
is that it's looking at all of your code from your entire project.
Mm-hmm.
And so the code that it suggests feels like something that you would have written if you remembered all the bits and pieces that you needed to write it.
It's true. Yeah. I think at some point in time we'll get maybe easier ways to chain agents together is
Hmm.
sort of what I'm waiting for. And that, like, as opposed to chaining models together, having things that can
Right.
act based on prior actions, and
Right.
specifically applications that are agent aware is what I've been
Hmm.
waiting for. And it's kind of happening. I think there was a big announcement from Figma that rocked the boat a little bit. That might have been 3 weeks ago now at this point in
Yeah.
time. But in terms of being able to use Gen AI within the app to help drive the
Right.
app,
Yeah.
I think that's for maybe one of the first examples that I've heard of. So yeah, I'm
I mean,
also
there's
super.
definitely been a
Yep.
lot of apps that are using AI tools to. I mean, you have
Hmm.
been a big fan of Notion and how the AI tools have
It's
been
only
built
gotten
into
better.
Notion,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, and I think the same thing applies there when we're talking about that context. I think that the novel part of what Notion
Hmm.
did was look at the entire context of what you had
Yeah.
every time you're asking a question about your stuff,
Yeah.
which I think is really, that's sort of next level. I'm
Yeah.
trying to segue here a little bit, but like there are some new Apple announcements, and I hate to be the Apple fanboy, but like here we are. I'll put that hat on again today. But there are rumors about the like Ultra 3 and I don't know, AirPods with cameras, maybe. Just
Hmm.
there's kind of some weird stuff coming out, but I guess
Where did you
what
see that?
this is on Bloomberg.
Oh,
I will
okay.
send you a link. My apologies. This is me looking up news while you're talking. It's sorry, somebody texted me on my phone, which is why I looked away there for a second. But this is interesting to me, not because of the new devices, and new devices are great. I love the Apple Watch. I probably will buy an Ultra 3 if it comes out. I'm interested to see what
Oh, Ultra, as in the
Ultra
watch.
3, the watch. My
Okay. Yeah.
apologies.
Yeah. Got
I'm
it. Got it.
interested to see what was it Apple Intelligence can add to these devices in order to help you with your day to
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Basically, like what is agentic, or what can
Right.
Apple add to this that would actually
Right.
help me as kind of like an Ask Jeeves
Yeah.
assistant robot? Like what can Siri do that actually helps me day to day?
Yeah.
Now that it's got some LLM capabilities, what can it do now? Should I go out and buy a HomePod? Because that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. Like I've gotten rid of Alexa finally.
Hmm.
It was just useless, unfortunately, and I'm slowly kind of phasing out the Google. So the question is, if there's just a like a voice enabled timer,
Right.
how much is a voice enabled timer worth to me? Is like
Yeah.
not much, turns out.
Yeah.
But I do want to know, like, when is the game on? Should know that it's the hockey game.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like the team that I know, which is terrible. I don't have a hockey team, but that context aware kind of things about
Hmm.
who you are, but also being able to reach out to something.
Hmm.
I think like they struck the nail on the head there in terms of that balance.
Yeah.
The privacy is going to be a little bit difficult, and I understand that in Europe it's not the same capabilities, and it will be in North America. But I would like to, yeah, I'm really interested in that. Oh, I'm trying to think of the robot's name out of Iron Man, but something like that. Is it Hal? He didn't call it Hal, did he? I'm gonna have to Google this. Oh,
I am the
Jarvis.
biggest non-fan of that whole series of
Iron Man or Marvel in general?
Marvel in general.
Yeah, I am also the same. Iron Man's the only one that I like, specifically the first one,
Yeah.
which is maybe why I know this. But Jarvis was the assistant that was
Right.
aware of
Okay.
what was going on in the schedule,
Yeah.
as well as what was happening in the
Yeah.
R&D lab, I guess, and could assist.
And I mean, I guess I related to that. I think of the house in. Did you ever see the TV series called? It was the name of a town in California.
Dallas.
No, oh God, what was it? It was like it was kind of a comedy thing, but this guy drives into town, and it's this like totally unmarked town that's hidden from
I was about to
um,
say the Beverly Hillbillies,
Euclid.
but this is not that. Okay,
Not
moving on.
Euclid or I feel like it started with an E. No, not Orville. Wasn't that a spaceship? Wasn't that like an offshoot of like Star Trek?
It was. Oh, sorry.
Um,
We got people in chat answering our questions. It's like
yeah.
two old guys have a
Ah,
podcast and forget all the
TV
subjects of the things they want to
series,
talk about.
Secret
I, I was looking it up as
City.
well. There's so many though.
Um,
It's not like the OC. I guess that's Orange County.
uh, ah, anyway,
This is such a deep
the
cut.
house was smart and it could answer to all all the questions.
Gotcha.
But at one point, the house got like a personality and decided to like everybody, all humans are evil,
Ooh,
and
I like it.
yeah, yeah, it was a
It sounds like a good TV show. Like I'm definitely this. This is where you're kind of like if we think about game theory here. Like the K0 understanding might be where we're at now. K1 is like there'll be assistance, and you're already at like K2. So like once you have assistance and they
Eureka.
determine that you're evil, Eureka.
Eureka was
Haven't
the
heard of
name
it.
of the.
Wow.
What? Oh, it's a pretty good
Frank's got
series.
all these
Yeah.
answers. Thank you, Frank.
Man,
so so sad. So sad.
Eureka, yes.
Perplexity. Good.
Except I couldn't. Well, I could ask anything if I could think of like words to describe what I was thinking.
I did Google, but I didn't try smart house
And
that thinks humans are evil.
yeah, yeah. It was kind of a fun series.
But there are okay. So like waking up this morning, I may have wanted to ask. For example, I may have wanted to ask if it's too hot to go outside today because it's quite
Mm,
warm in the
yeah.
Pacific Northwest right now. We're in an I messed it up.
What's the
Beautiful.
temperature there?
It is in centigrade is 30, which I don't think
30
is quite 100 yet.
is 86.
Yes, which feels
And
warm.
here it is 91.
Oh, that's too warm.
Yeah.
Way too warm. But it's kind of ridiculous to go outside. So there were
Which is
some things in the chat
33.
about like what to search for now, right? So Google is the first thing that I used when I search. The second thing I would probably do is spin up some LLM and ask the
Yeah.
question there. Like I could try DuckDuckGo or could try Bing or something like that, but honestly,
Yep.
like it's Google first. You scroll through the ads. You hope for the
Yeah.
best in the middle because page two is not going to help you. And then if that doesn't work, you move on to something else. But we're in the era now, the post 2022 I think era where search is just broken across the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult. But I'm really excited in what this watch could mean as an assistant that is not a phone, and can
Right.
work independent of the phone and can
Right.
do things like I don't know, track your health activity and let you know that there's
Mhm.
an environmental warning outside and
Yeah.
that perhaps your heart rate's a bit high. Maybe it's time to go home. I like this
Yeah.
this kind of stuff because I do get the heart rate alarms. In fact, I got one yesterday because I think I was overheating. It was 9 p.m. It was quite hot. I was outside and it was like, hey, your heart rate's up. Like all I'm doing is walking with my
Yeah.
book bag. I had all my lenses in and two laptops because I'm not the smartest person. But yes, walking around with a heavy book bag in high heat was not the smartest thing I did
Yeah.
yesterday. But I'm
Yeah, 'cause
really looking forward to that.
I've loaded up a few apps that run like full models.
Okay.
7 billion parameter models on
Oh,
your phone.
so
It
not
takes
like Pi. Okay.
forever to download, and then you
Yes.
finally get it, and you run it, and it is so slow.
Right.
And within 10 minutes of like trying to answer this one simple question, the phone is
It's hot.
getting hot.
Yeah.
And the
It's like
battery is going,
actually,
you're watching the
no
battery
battery.
drop.
Yeah, yeah. You got to plug it in,
Um,
because like I did it on a portable battery even, and the battery was going down while it was charging. You
right,
know what I mean? Like it wasn't getting enough
right.
juice. But
And so,
Pi is
what
pretty
if
good.
you have
Yeah.
a super minimal model that
Right.
has access to all your stuff,
Right.
and it's all running locally, so not anywhere else. So, you maybe, again, depends on what you are comfortable with sharing, even if it is running locally.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um,
So I feel like that's why Microsoft bought
yeah.
Pi in order to do that kind of thing. And there's a question in the chat
Pi?
about like Olama or
What was
LLM
Pi?
Studio. Pi is like that microscopic LLM.
Okay. Oh,
It's quite tiny.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
might be
yeah.
like a
Okay.
gig.
Yeah.
It's quite small.
PHI?
Oh shit! Shoot, am I
Pi?
saying Pi? I do
Yeah.
mean to say Phi. My
Yeah.
apologies.
Okay.
Yes, and shortly after acquiring them, they released Pi, which is why I get
Okay.
the two confused. My bad.
Okay.
Or vice versa. Actually, I may have been right, and you.
Right.
Regardless, it's this app that
I
Microsoft
was
bought that
thinking,
runs on
oh,
iOS.
maybe the right pronunciation for PHI is pi, and I just don't know.
That's
You
possible.
know, there's all those the words that you know that you've read over and over and over again that you don't know the official pronunciation, and then somebody hears you say it, it's like, actually you say it this other way. Um, like
It is in fact Pi,
uh,
PI, and Phi
oh
is
yeah,
the model. Yes.
okay. It's like
I
I
don't
always
know
think
why I
of
remember this. Probably because I actually downloaded the app, and I think the icon was a green
hmm,
pie.
I
But yeah,
always think of Kubectl.
yeah. I mean
You
that's fine. Uh, w- what am I trying to say here? It's like if you're going to run a model on your watch, like,
hmm.
what does that look like? And I think you're kind of you're hitting that balance, right? Is
Right.
what you're talking about is that
Yeah.
small model that can reach out when it needs to, and
Right.
that's it seems like the pragmatic approach. If you know the device is
Yeah.
going to have some internet access, but you also don't want to send everything out to the internet,
Right.
what can you do locally prior to doing that? And it feels like that gating or that cancel or allow kind of UI that
Right.
Apple's coming at it is probably the right thing to do,
Yeah.
I think. And then the question is like, how do we handle privacy? Like, what if I don't trust ChatGPT? Or
Yeah.
what if Claude Sonnet is Sonnet or whatever is what I want to use? How can I point this elsewhere? Maybe
Right.
would be the thing. Or like, how do I use a vendor that is operating in EU and then I know it doesn't leave the European
Hmm.
Union? That kind of stuff I think is maybe the next step
Yeah.
here. But I agree. This does feel like the right approach, especially when we're talking about like a Raspberry Pi, an Apple Watch,
Hmm.
something that the 1 gigabyte or sorry gigahertz ARM device.
Yep.
What can you do with these? What? Yeah, and this seems like the right mix. I don't know. Yeah,
There's a
isn't Phi Greek? Yes, I think it is. And then I know you didn't answer, but the assumption here is that you prefer Olama to LLM Studio or LM
that
Studio.
is the assumption. But there's a reason why. Because LM Studio is just garbage.
I
And
thought you were gonna talk about licensing, but like, yeah, I mean,
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's
the
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 licensing
UI is
issue.
arguably like, or maybe objectively not good. We can at
Yeah.
least say that.
Yeah. And every time, I mean, I keep trying to use it. I mean, I was using it before Olama came out. So LM Studio predates
Right.
Olama. It was definitely one of the inspirations to create Olama
Oh,
because
okay, I didn't know that.
we just hated it,
Yeah.
hated using it, and that and Ubabuga and a bunch of the other tools that existed, hated using it. So let's create something that's going to be better.
Right.
And every time I've tried using it since, it's just slow compared to doing the same thing in Olama. That's my experience. Some people say it's the opposite way around. It's slower in Olama. So it all depends. I mean, I would often see 30% slower in LM Studio. And so
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
not a big fan of it.
there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like
Yeah.
as a mature UI, like there's a bunch of things that I
Yeah.
expect from it. One of the problems that so I set up LM Studio for a friend who just wants to sort
Hmm.
of kick the tires, figure out what's going on. One of the issues that he ran into is like loading and unloading models didn't necessarily clear all the VRAM from the graphics
Hmm.
card, and the errors that he received
Yeah.
weren't like legible. I guess
Yeah.
weren't in plain speak enough to understand that like, oh, wait, I still haven't unloaded the last model. Like,
Yeah.
actually, I asked you to do that 5 minutes ago, but that's fine.
Right.
Please tell me that that's what happened, not that like general error kind of thing, because it
Right.
is quite common with LM Studio. It The other thing is that he thought it was easy enough to use, but like there's no rational flow from like start to
No.
finish in terms of like what you need to do first and
Right.
then what's next kind of thing. It's just all over the map is just big soup of
Yeah.
checkboxes and radio
Yeah.
buttons and should
There's
be like scroll
no.
lists and stuff. It's just like all the UI
Yeah.
conventions are just thrown out the window.
And there's no with Olama, you just load up Olama run whatever the model is, and that's it. And then you ask your
Right,
questions.
even as a text UI, I'd
Yeah.
say it's
And
pretty simple as a result.
LM Studio, you've got to there's a little bit. I mean, you got to load the model. Then there's a bit of configuration you need to do potentially, or maybe you'll get just the right templates set up automatically, but
Right,
often not.
right.
And so there's just a lot more. I don't understand when people say they find it easier to use. Okay, there's a UI, but it's a much more involved UI than what you have to deal with Olama. I mean, I, I
And the
don't know.
fact that
I
it
don't
adds
get it.
overhead. Yeah, it's it's a whole thing.
I, I
And I'm really not a fan of Ooga Booga's UI either. I
yeah,
find them very similar, and
yeah,
maybe as a result, I really don't like either of them.
yeah. I've been often asked to make a video about LM Studio, and there have been other videos that I've made that have been largely negative,
Right.
but I'm generally able to find some positive
Oh,
things in
of
there,
course, yeah.
and I can't do that with LM Studio. And so
I,
I
I
feel like I
yeah, I feel like you
can't.
could at least give like getting started kind of video, like what know before you go, like what you need to
Yeah.
know and actually in order to use it.
Here's
Like
how you
close
actually
it
use it. Yeah.
every time you pick a new model, because like
And
it's not
not
going to do the right thing.
and not be a review, but
Right.
just here is how you use it.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Know before you go content, I feel like is
Yeah.
evergreen.
Yeah.
Because like there are so many. It's a good opportunity for a friction log to shine. Like
Yeah.
here are the problems that I had with LM Studio.
Yeah.
You may or
Yeah.
may not. One of which is the
I
GUI. You have
I
to
was
use this. Moving on.
surprised. I was really surprised at when using LM Studio in the last month or 2 months, I'd say, how little it has changed. It is pretty much the
Right.
same thing,
Right.
minimal differences in an entire year.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just that I found that interesting.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think he's got. I mean, when a year ago, so when Olama just started, it was just him. It was for the I can't remember the guy's name for LM Studio,
Mhm.
but it was just him building out LM Studio, and that was it. I think now he's got. I feel like he's gotten some funding and he's got some people working on it with him, but yeah, I feel like there should be more stuff because there actually there is. Sorry, there's a they added a CLI.
Yeah. I'm looking
Um,
to see.
and they've done a lot more work around the server piece as well. Um,
They called it LMS. That really not the best term for a CLI, but I guess that it's a specific group. Like in the
yeah,
LMS means something to me. It probably
yeah,
does to you as well. Learning
yeah,
Management
yeah,
Studio. Yeah.
yeah. System.
System, studio, whatever. Yeah, there's quite a bit in here, but
Yeah,
TypeScript and Node. I'm just looking for the developer here. Is it Ryan the Crayon by chance, or Yagil Borowski?
I can't remember who it was I spoke to. Hmm.
It's
But yeah,
gone.
that's my thought on LM Studio.
So the corollary here, or maybe the follow up would be
Oh, that's another word that I've heard somebody. That every now and then I'm interested in how do people pronounce words,
oh
and corollary is the way I have always pronounced it. That's
yes
what you just said.
yes
God, who was it? It was somebody.
corollary.
I feel like there's somebody at Datadog who has said it, and it's like corollary or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
Something.
Corollary. I believe might be the UK way to say this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I rarely hear that.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's
sorry, I
one of my
distracted.
favorite words. Like things that relate to other things without using the
Yeah.
normal word.
Yeah.
It it feels like to me that there's got to be some GUI convention that we can make that's better than is it like web GUI that everyone's using? There's like this template that everyone's building this in, and I think that's actually like the root cause. It's like
Oh,
there's no bootstrap for this basically. We need something
there's
like that.
the common thing, Streamlit,
Okay,
that a lot of people are building Python apps in. I think it's called Streamlit.
gotcha.
And yeah, so it always looks the same.
Yeah, it's.
Don't do front ends in Python.
I
mean,
mean,
there's
I mean,
bad examples of
can you do it front end in Python? I don't think you can.
that's
Can you?
that's Streamlit, I think.
Does Python run in the browser? No, it's
Oh,
gonna be
and
something else.
I mean, I think it converts it to. I haven't really looked.
No, it's gotta be the back end.
No. I mean, Streamlit will
What?
take your Python, put a
Cross-compile?
kind of a. I don't know
No
what
way.
it does.
All in
I can
pure
make it.
Python, no front end experience required. It looks like you're right. This is really disturbing to me.
I mean, I don't think
fundamentally this seems like a bad idea, but I get it.
Yeah.
If the only hammer you have is Python,
I mean,
can
it
you make
probably
it good?
creates JavaScript for the browser to
It
run.
has to. Yeah, it has to.
HTML and JavaScript, yeah.
Wow.
But they all look the same.
Oh my. Yeah, and looking through this, I think you're absolutely right. I just don't like Streamlit. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Streamlit people. I understand the goal here, and
I mean,
I get who it
it's
serves.
an
but
amazing
yeah.
idea
Yes, it
to
is an
be able to
amazing idea.
create a UI for a programming language that doesn't have a UI.
Doesn't have a front end library. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what they've done, and that it works,
Moving
and that
on.
it's simple enough for anybody to do.
Right.
That's incredible.
It is about as advanced as like PHP MyAdmin, unfortunately.
Yes.
which I also love.
Which was also pretty incredible.
At the time.
Absolutely.
Yes. Honestly, I did use PHP MyAdmin for a long time, and probably still would if I had to do anything in PHP and MySQL.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
used I used PHP when it was called PHPFI.
Wow. I
So-
did not know. I
So
don't know
the
anybody who's
FI
used PHP. Yeah, I don't know anyone
The
who's used
FI
PHP.
was
for
like
that.
forms integrator or something, and
Finland?
it was PHP/FI.
I know no one who used it that early. You were the first to be. Honestly, I think I started around PHP 3. It was
Yeah.
when I finally got my hands on it. Right?
That's-
It's quite a while
You
later.
youngins. You youngins.
And Python, I definitely started 2.1 or 2.2.
Yeah.
Oh, how the times changed.
Yeah.
So listen, we were talking about travel a little bit. I won't bring up bidets again. I apologize. I think our crowd has understood how passionate I am about this subject. But I do have one other thing that is maybe less popular within our community that I think they should check out. So what this is, I think I would describe it as like a travel blazer. So you know how photographers have those stupid vests with all the pockets in them? This is the less cringy equivalent travel attire. So it's on the
Don't
back of my
say
chair.
Scott.
What's that?
Don't say Scott E-Vest.
Oh no. It is look at this. Oh. Got some movie magic here. We'll see if I can put this on over the chair. It's very difficult.
Uh-huh.
Very difficult. Oh, this is one of those things that like if I can put it on like this, you know you can take it on, or sorry, put it on and take it off on the plane. Oh, it got stuck on the back, of course.
Yeah.
Look at this. Does this look so? Okay.
Looks okay.
Looks okay. This is
Yeah.
wrinkle proof. And it has 5 pockets and they all zip, which is phenomenal. Every pocket
Okay.
zips. So like they've all got little zippers on them, which is fantastic. And
Wow.
listen, it's really warm in here, so I'm gonna throw this away.
Yeah.
What I noticed is like a breathable summer blazer looks
Yeah.
sort of classy, and it doesn't take much to class this up. Like anything helps basically when we're talking about IT nerds. Going through the airport and stuff like that, it was totally fine. I could have my passport in there, and then when everything was like ready to go, just roll it up, throw it in the bag, and hop on the plane, which was fantastic. And in fact, when we were talking about like going to the washroom and compression socks and stuff
Right.
like that last time. This is the suit coat that I had on.
Okay.
But it's like it's remarkably breathable, but also
Yeah.
because it was freezing on the plane, I think it was 11 degrees Celsius. It actually got warm pretty quickly. It
Right.
is quite nice. So it's from Lululemon. Of course, I wear a lot of Lulu clothing, but it wasn't
Okay.
expensive as a
Oh,
blazer. I
okay.
think it was like $85,
Yeah.
which is like unheard of for a blazer. So it's
Yeah.
also cheap and it doesn't wrinkle, so you don't need to
Yeah.
worry about that kind of stuff. One thing I noticed as somebody with like slightly shorter arms is I probably got to hem the arms up a little bit. They come in like
Mm.
small, medium, and large, extra large, etc.
Hmm.
But that means that like it assumes you have normal length arms, and I definitely don't. I've
Right.
got like
Yeah.
T-Rex arms or something. But it's quite nice. It's like breathable.
Well,
I could wear it outside today. I wouldn't die, which is
yeah.
nice. And you can also like if you have to go to a speaker dinner, which is exactly
Right.
what I had to do, you could bring it along for something like that.
Wow.
That's
See,
that is
I'm
my
not a
recommendation.
I'm not a fan of blazers in general.
I think you should.
I
Because
I
not for
think
you, but
as
the people who perceive you.
the way I perceive people wearing a blazer at a conference
Right.
is that they have just lost. They've come down in credibility.
Right. So I would suggest that take it or leave it, wear it outside of the conference, not at the conference. Because I've noticed the same. The book bag and blazer look is like a kind of a junior move, I think.
Yeah.
In fact, when I interviewed at Samsung many years ago, uh, I was told that in Korea this is normal, but not in Canada
Hmm.
to show up in a full suit for an interview because that's just
Yeah.
how I was raised. Unfortunately, I'm
Yeah.
learning things. As a farm boy, right? We're taught to dress up when you're in the
Yeah.
city. It doesn't always work. So I may have lost a bit of credibility there, but luckily I had the
Yeah.
tech chops and things went through. But I totally did show up in without a tie, but like a full suit.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, you're right. In terms of credibility, I will say though, outside of our community, most people appreciate a blazer. That's what I was getting
Yeah.
at. So if
Yeah.
you need to take out a loved one for a dinner or something like that, you can easily pull it on without necessarily, I don't know, pressing it or pulling out
Yeah.
the iron, which I'm not very good at. Anyway,
I mean, for
this is
me,
my
the
two.
the big problem with any sort of suit jacket is that they seem to they get smaller around the. I can't get the buttons closed.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
don't close. Yeah, it's really it's probably because you're so smart. Just
Yeah, that's right. That's it. That's it.
I just leave them open, honestly. And this one
Yeah.
has like those plastic snap buttons instead of the ones that loop in, which is kind of nice. So if you do find that you've gained too much knowledge, perhaps in a
Yeah.
sitting, it will just pop open for you.
So I have a story that's related to that
Okay.
I went to Detroit, you know where my wife's family
Hmm.
is from, and they decided they were going to the family was going to go sledding, but I didn't bring any winter stuff. So snow was on the ground. I didn't bring any of that stuff. We're not going to go out. It's in the snow, so I don't need to bring any of this stuff.
Right.
We're going to go sledding. One of the relatives is also pretty tall. I don't think he's quite as tall as me, but pretty tall.
Right.
And he says, "Well, like a one piece kind of snow suit you can borrow." Like, great, okay. So we go over, and it's just like the right height. It's like,
Okay.
okay, great, this is great. And so I zip it up, but I can't get it
Can't
over
go can't go past the
over
belly.
this.
The Santa Claus
Um,
proportions.
and there was also a zipper that could go, attach at the top and come down.
Right.
And so I could either have it like open from down here up, or I could have it open from like here down. And so imagine, you've got this suit on with the bottom kind of open, and you're going to a sledding hill. Now, what kind of age range is often at a sledding hill? Much younger.
Probably.
And so yeah, I felt kind of awkward being around. It's like
You should just put a red toucan and call yourself Santa Claus. Ho ho ho.
so that's my
I love it. I've only
yeah,
worn one of those skiing suits once in Japan,
yeah,
where similarly I got a hand me down from a relative, and it
yeah,
smelled like mothballs so
yeah.
badly. It was yeah. I feel
Yeah,
I can still
I
smell
think
that
that's the other
snowsuit.
place I've worn one of those at Ski Dubai, the ski resort inside.
Right.
I think they had those as well,
Gotcha.
but
Just
they
as
had ones that
loners or
fit.
what have you. Yeah, yeah. That is hilarious. Did you watch anything new or purchase anything that we should know about? Have you been trying to
I
curb your spending? Have you been responsible?
I I did watch something I hadn't seen in a long time,
Okay, what was that?
which was great. Fast Times at Richmond High.
I've never seen this movie.
Oh, you need
I've
to see
never
this
seen this movie. I know the cover of this movie because waiting for
Yeah,
the bus at the corner store, I would see it all the time. Has a pretty iconic title
yeah, yeah.
cover. Is it any good? Is it as
It
cringy as it looks?
it's pretty great.
Okay.
I mean, it's like Sean Penn, and there's
Sean
all. I
Penn's
mean,
in it.
oh my God, Spicoli.
Wow.
Spicoli is he's incredible.
Wow,
Wait,
I didn't
is
know.
that? I'm pretty sure that's who I'm thinking of, Sean Penn. Um,
Uh, yeah, Sean Penn, Judge Reinhold, Nicolas Cage. I didn't know that.
yeah,
Wow, Forrest Whitaker too.
yeah,
Okay, and Amanda Bynes. What?
yeah.
Oh no, Amanda Weiss. It says
Yeah,
Amanda
okay.
Weiss. Wow, I can't read. My apologies. We've determined this before that I am not the best fact
Yeah.
checker live. This looks like a okay. Maybe I'll
I
watch
mean,
it now. There's a lot of yeah. We've got some comments. Amazing movie. I have never seen it. I thought it was pretty. There's like a certain type of movie that came out in the early '80s that was like
oh yeah. I
all
mean,
the same
it's
director.
not. I mean, the director of this also. Um, it was written by Cameron Crowe.
Right, and Amy Heckerling apparently is a director.
Hmm.
Interesting. Who did like Look Who's Talking and Clueless? Look Who's Talking Now. European Vacation, which is actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
And Night at the Roxbury. Okay, that's a pretty good.
yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of pretty good movies. Okay, I do really like The Night at the Roxbury, which is similarly a little bit cringy. I think Frank, you kind of hit on the head. Is that I'm just off of the like a couple years off of appreciating this movie, unfortunately. Um,
You should still see it.
yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
will. This is one of those things that's like there's a few scenes that are referenced a lot in terms
yeah,
of like pop culture media. So I've
yep,
seen the clips, obviously, but
yep.
I've never seen it. Okay, Fast Times at Richmond High. I didn't have that on my bingo card of recommendations today.
I want a full review next time.
I will try. I will try.
I
Yeah,
can't think
that's.
of anything else. I I think I've just kind of gone on the.
Have
Um,
you watched
oh,
Presumed Innocent? Because
I
that's
started watching Presumed Innocent.
okay. Because
I'm
that's next on
not.
my list. I hate to be again the Apple fanboy, but like it's there. It feels like a
Yeah,
sunk cost fallacy. If I don't watch it, I'm wasting my money. Right? That's how this works.
yeah. I mean, I've watched maybe. Wait, what's going on here? The first two or three episodes, and it's not totally grabbing me. Um, Another one that's I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I am is Palm Royale, I think it's called, or
Right.
Palm Royal,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. I saw the
Uh,
preview for that. It looked
and
pretty good.
it's pretty good. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. But
yeah.
also you like the new guy or something, right? The everybody panned. So like,
The new
hmm.
guy.
Oh, that wasn't you? Okay. Sorry. I had a conversation where somebody watched the new guy and really liked it. Was that not you? I thought it was.
What was the new guy?
The new guy just came out.
The new guy.
The new guy, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, the new
New
guy.
guy.
No, maybe I was thinking of something else. The Fall Guy.
No.
Fall Guy.
Oh, Fall Guy.
Not- I'm so bad. It feels like I've got COVID brain,
The
but
new
I
guy was
promise you I'm not
what
sick.
looks like a horrible movie from
From the
a few
80s.
years ago. Yeah,
From 2002. It looks like it's a horrible movie from the 80s.
yeah.
Yeah, if you like Fall Guy, I'm not sure if we can trust your opinion on Palm Royale,
I
but
thought Fall
I
Guy was
also
a
heard
lot of fun.
Palm Royale was good too.
And you still need to see what was that very weird kind of detective one, Sugar.
Palm Royale has like a 57 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got to be
It's
good, right?
it's a little weird, and Sugar's bizarre. I mean, It's all makes sense for the first like 6 or 7 episodes, and then it just gets weird.
Yeah, I mean, Fall Guys getting 81 on Rotten Tomatoes. I probably should watch it. Not that that's the be all end all of ratings. And then Sugar on Apple TV, of course. Sorry, folks. This is scintillating, but 82 on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, I gotta be
Yeah,
careful making fun of your taste. You maybe have
yeah.
some very mainstream taste, which is fine.
And then I watched. Oh, the other thing I watched was Saving Private Ryan.
That is a phenomenal movie. I've seen that 3 times. That first scene
I
in
forgot
particular is
that
so good.
I forgot that Nathan Fillion was in it.
Oh, I love him. He was the Firefly person, right? The person who was the captain
Firefly,
of the
yep,
ship. Yeah.
Castle,
I haven't seen Castle, but he was
and
really good in Firefly.
he was the first Private Ryan that they found, who was the wrong Private Ryan.
Right. I did not remember that. Oh, Eric. I haven't heard of this either. Oh. It's got Benedict Cumberbatch in it and Gabby Hoffman. All right.
Hmm.
Is it
And there's a new
possibly
Doctor.
British? Ooh. A new Doctor Who?
Yeah,
Oh, I've still never watched Doctor Who either. We're in we're in good
yeah.
territory here. We need to have a list of things I need to watch. One person
Oh,
did
right.
ask. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, something that the movie poster for Eric reminded me of.
Hmm.
One thing I'm looking forward to coming on in about 2 weeks
Yeah.
on is it on Apple? I think it's on Apple TV as well. Is Time Bandits.
Ooh,
Do you know anything about Time Bandits?
I do not. Is it an anime?
There's a movie
Oh, this
which
movie
is
looks really bad.
phenomenal.
Okay. It's got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, the new one.
Okay,
But it's also pretty early. But
yeah,
yes, the one from 1981 has a
it's
6.9.
great. It's
It looks
great.
very campy. I think might
It
be the
is.
term for it.
But I mean, Sean Connery and
And John Cleese and Michael
John
Palin. Oh
Cleese, yeah,
my.
it's it's fun. It's
I
one of my
love John Cleese
yeah.
unabashedly. Yes.
So
I
and
need
the
to watch that.
series looks very interesting.
Right
It's
on.
with Phoebe from Friends.
Oh, I've forgotten her name. Shoot. Oh, sorry. I've totally spaced on her name. My apologies. We did have one question that was slightly
Oh,
related to
we
things.
did
So it's
related.
what is the best Olama model to play with? And I'll give you my answer because mine's the naive answer. I'm maybe I'm the mainstream person in this one, but I'd say like Llama 3 if you can run it at whatever. Is it quantization?
Hmm.
I would say that's probably the best place to start in my experience. What's
I'd
your
say the Kyle XY. That was pretty bad. Um, uh, uh, I think the best model to play around with is whichever one you download. I mean, they're all fun to play with. I mean, Llama 3 I really enjoy. It seems to work, do the most things that you're going to throw at it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a video coming out tomorrow about using tools with function calling in Olama.
Oh, interesting.
And I used Llama 3 for most of that. Although I also switched out to Llama 2, and that works fine too.
Right, right.
But Llama 3 works great for a lot of things.
Yeah. And then do you go uncensored, censored? Because there are a few different versions.
Yeah, I mean, I usually stick with. I mean, I'm not really asking things where
Yeah,
it
right.
makes a difference. I mean,
And in general, you can say like, pretend this is a movie script, and it works anyway. Like
yeah,
offline, it's typically okay.
I've never hit a point where it's like, oh, censored. Oh, darn.
Yeah, I
Well, I
think
wouldn't
you
be
and I
using the
may have
word
different
darn.
use cases than the rest of the world, right? A lot of mine is like just try to. It's kind of testing a lot of the
Yeah,
time as opposed to like writing real code or anything like that.
yeah.
So I feel like my use case is different than most people's, and that I purely
But
just want to see
that said,
the
there are
quality.
some. I mean, on whatever community you're on, there are lots of people that are really into w- things that I might count as weird.
Also true. Have you? This is a bit. It's tangential but related. Have you tried Claude? I don't think it's called Sonnet, but the sort of
Hmm.
middle of the road one. Is it 3.5?
Right.
3.5 Sonnet? Sonnet?
I think I played around with it a little bit.
I've
It's
been
got
I've been really impressed. Like as a Canadian,
okay.
it's difficult to get access to Claude. Well, straight
Mm,
up. Um, Specifically, what I'm using is Bedrock, but I'm finding that the quality is either on par or in some cases better than
mm,
ChatGPT, which to me isn't like the de facto standard, but it's kind of up there. So it feels
the,
like my favorites right now are ChatGPT, Claude Sonnet, and then I
right.
guess Llama 3, just in
The
terms of general
thing
usage.
that the use case that I'm seeing that people getting most excited about with Claude, and is it? I thought it was just Sonnet, but Sonnet. But sure, we'll go
If
with
it's
that.
Claude, then it's got to be Sonnet, right?
Okay,
Claude
whatever.
Sonnet.
Um, then it was around a description, writing a description of an application and having it build the application,
Oh, because of
and
the
that
context
that
window.
kind of
Mm.
that kind of thing does apparently well, but I haven't tried it myself.
And is it 4,000 tokens that it's limited to? Like that's a pretty high limit.
No, don't have high limit.
No,
That would be low.
that would be low. Oh, all right.
I mean, Llama 3, I think, is at 8192.
Oh, my is 20,000. Okay, my
No, okay.
apologies. And that's
And
per minute, actually. Holy moly. Those are rate
what are we
limits.
talking? Oh, okay.
Okay. Sorry, I was just looking at limits. 1 million tokens.
Okay, yeah.
What? There seems to be this is one of those ones I have to research. There seem to
Yeah.
be differing responses on Reddit, which would you know has been used to train a few of these. According to Reddit, people not respecting robots.txt. What? Amazing. I love how this is news. No, sorry, this is we're way off
Yeah.
into tangent land, but people not respecting robots.txt is kind of the story of the internet
Yeah,
for a long
that
time.
has definitely come up a bunch of times.
And this isn't the legal standard or anything like that. And I've definitely been crawled multiple times by
Yeah,
things that don't respect robots.txt. But
right.
I'm not saying it's good or bad, but
Yeah,
it can be pretty disastrous if you're running something like Reddit that is a cost center and you're trying to
right,
make money
right.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Conte Nast. I think we've cut up all the questions. Oh, okay. Someone did think that I was going to be talking about socks. I'm so sorry. The brand of the coat that I showed off was, in fact, Lululemon yet again. It is cheap, though, relatively. And yes, the socks were also
I,
Lululemon. I apologize.
I don't know if I think I've been in a Lululemon store one time, and that was to get a yoga mat.
I can't even recommend it, honestly, but it's one of these franchises where if you're going, like Uniqlo might be one, or like uh, not Muji, the Muji might be another, but places you can go and dependably just get like a thin T-shirt
Hmm.
or like a pair of slacks in case you forgot, or a pair of
Right.
shorts in case you forgot shorts, that
Right.
kind of thing. It feels more like staple clothing than it does
Mm-hmm.
like you're going to build a whole wardrobe out of it,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. But it's like it's workout gear or athleisure,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah.
very much Pacific Northwest clothing.
Right. Yeah.
We always look like we've come from a workout or about to go to a workout. Yes, unfortunately, and none of us work out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I got social activities today.
Whoa. Sorry,
I'm
did you have a hard
actually
stop? I'm so sorry.
no, no,
I was just gabbing about clothing.
no, I just remember I'm actually doing something this evening. No, I don't have to go for a while, but
Wow. What are you doing?
I am going to some meetup.
Some meetup. A meetup.
It is being run by
Totally. We're both. Our memories are phenomenal today. I just need to call this out.
um
Is it outside? Is it inside? It's pretty warm out.
it's a startup event.
Okay.
It's Seattle Startup Now,
Ooh.
being run by Tola Capital
Oh.
and Arthur AI.
Oh. I
It's being
haven't
held
heard
at the
of Arthur in a minute. Oh,
Palumi building, so
that's pretty
in
cool.
Seattle.
Right on. Now,
So
for you, that's a fair commute, right? Is that like a
that'll
2 hour?
be. I'll have to drive over to the ferry, park, and then get on the ferry. It'll be about a 40-minute crossing, and then and then it'll be 10-minute walk.
Oh, it's not too bad. Okay.
Oh,
So 2 hours round trip kind of thing. Yeah, it's probably worth it.
yeah, probably about that.
Yeah, I will
So I'm
say
looking
I
forward to
found that there's quite a bit of value in networking events.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's hard to explain this to people who are like new to the industry, but it's honestly worthwhile.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we got some people from Seattle in the chat who may also see you there.
Sorry?
You got confused for a second.
No, I
Shall we try to find the button? Your brain's already somewhere else. Sorry, folks. Matt can only stomach this podcast for an hour
no,
to,
no, no,
to the
no.
minute.
No, I think yeah. Sorry, I saw another email that distracted me.
Of course, of course.
But yeah, you want to stop it now? I think
Might as
we've
well.
been on for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done okay.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. I think we got them all.
Is anyone still on?
There are people still on. Yes.
Wow, 5 people, awesome,
Amazing.
including maybe 2 of us.
Maybe, if not 3. Awesome. Honestly, again,
Yeah,
I
it was
thank all of the viewers. I realize that the numbers go up and the numbers go down, but having questions in the chat is honestly a big,
Yeah,
I don't know, it's like a motivator. It helps definitely push things forward.
yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. All right, I'm gonna find that stop button. Ready? 1, 2, 3.